Hey everyone, welcome to Voice of Her Own. I'm Allison Kinnear. Today I'm coming from the desk, I'm not standing up. Um, and I wanted to talk today about what's possible and the importance of remembering what's possible. So much is happening right now. There's just, let's face it, there's a lot coming from a lot of different directions. And it's not like there's an end, where it's going to be like, well, oh, hello, there's my phone. We'll just let that ring in the background. I don't know where it is, so my apologies. Um, of course, Facebook Live. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay, so here we are again. Let's try that again. Round two. So, what I was thinking, what I've been present to, or what I've just been aware of, is just how impossible things can feel. And we're definitely in rocks and hard places. Between the pandemic, for those of us on the West Coast and on the western part of the United States, the smoke and the fires, there's a lot of obstacles. And the caution around that is it can get, our brains are sticky for the things that are, that cause a certain threat to us, whether it's a real threat or a perceived threat. Our brains get really sticky on that, and we can get hyper focused on the problems, on the challenges, on the things that aren't working, on the obstacles. And what's so important is to, yes, pay attention to all of that. I'm not suggesting clear that away and pretend it doesn't exist. Pay attention to it, but just know that your brain is going to get really sticky around it. It's going to want to chew on that for a long time, and it's going to want to think about it, and it's going to want to, flip it around and hyper focus on it. And when the brain works overtime on those challenges, on those obstacles, on those things that are kind of outside of our control, what happens is our energy gets sucked, our anxiety goes up, we end up feeling, we can give in to hopelessness. It's a slippery slope to no good. And so part of our work then becomes to train our brain. And part of the training of the brain is to, yes, acknowledge the things that are bringing fear, that may be increasing worry or anxiety, or the things that are not working. But we also have to remember what is possible. And so what that means is just interrupting, it's like, okay, I'm paying attention to this. Great, I got it. I'm going to say, oh, stop, that's enough, brain. And now I'm going to think about, what can I do about the problem? Is there anything within my control? Is it all outside of my control? If it's all outside of my control, what can I do to help myself feel better? Is that planning and preparing? Is that praying? Is that reaching out to others? What's going to help settle me down if it's all outside of my control? But if there's any bit of it that is in my control, then what is possible? What are the resources? Who would I need to reach out to? What are the things I would need to find out? What are the resources that are available? And to then build the courage to ask for those things, to investigate, to find those things out. And that can be hard when we're deprived of energy and we're stuck in our, swirls. And yet, the way to get out of the swirl is to get out of the swirl. The way to get out of the energy suck is to get out of the energy suck. You can't both be doom scrolling and hyper focusing on the negative and free yourself from it. You have to first free yourself from it, even in the tiniest microscopic way, and it will help. So for example, my one of my kids is, online learning, not a favorite activity. And we were noticing power struggles and struggles around, saying things like, I hate school and all of these things. And it was like I could feel the impending doom of, we are 2 weeks in. This is day 5, day 6, and we're in crying for hours, refusing to do any assignment, and the whole bit. And so reached out to the teacher and said, by the way, because I realized that, like, hey, yes, they're offering school, but are they going to flunk a second grader? I had to say, hey, we're still adjusting. Don't expect assignments right now. We're trying to stay out of the power struggle, and we're trying to get him to love school again. That's our purpose. So if we turn in assignments, bonus, and if we don't, we don't. But I want you to know it's not for lack of trying. It's just we're in the thick of things. That was something in my control that I could do. So what? He's got assignments, and he's got them piling up, and school is there, but this is pardon my French, but like, this is a shit show of a year. It's a shit show for our kids, it's a shit show for our teachers, it's a shit show for our administrators. We're all just figuring this out. There is no like right way to do this. So we get to take charge. We get to take charge of our life. And yes, I hate seeing the assignments build up, and yes, I hate that we're not able to like be as great as those other kids whose families have somehow figured it out. That's just the reality, is we're not there. And I can't put that expectation on him. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. I choose not to. That is something that is in the realm of possibility. That's my choice. And other people might not make that choice, and that is fine. But like, we sometimes get stuck in the way it used to be, the way it should be, the way we want it to be. And when we come down to the brass tacks of the way it is, and we go, okay, considering the shit showiness of the whole situation, we're going to have to figure out, what do we do here? What do we do now? What do we do with this information? Then we can suddenly find the possibilities. So I encourage you to take a clear assessment of your life, not just how you want it to be, how you hope it will be, how it used to be, like none of that. Where is it now? And what are the choices? Doesn't mean we're going to like the choices. It doesn't mean it's going to be like, yay, I choose a mediocre year, or whatever the case may be, but we can find possibilities. I have a friend of mine who lives alone and is like, okay, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to people who I also know live alone and are considering the pandemic to be real, and perhaps inviting them over so I have somebody to talk to in real human life, right? Like, we have to look at the risks we're willing to take, and we have to look at what is possible. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that serves you, and thank you for tuning in. Thanks for dealing with my phone ringing in the middle of all this. And I wish you a wonderful week of living and learning. I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye.